Is that all right? Can I do that?
Absolutely.
You mind? Is that okay?
I'm here to do my thing.
Okay. You can bring that microphone, just tilt it up. Yeah.
Whatever it is, I don't know. We'll do it.
There you go. Perfect. Dan Halroyd. Am I getting that right now?
You are.
Dan Halroyd is with Southern Michigan Paranormals. He just informed me, he's also the president of the Great Lakes Ghostbusters Coalition. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be talking with him. We'll start the interview right now. And by the way, your partner who is out in the van is welcome to come in.
I told him.
Bob, is it?
Bob,
if you're listening right now, blink the headlights.
He's probably catching a nap. I don't know.
Okay, if he's listening to us right now here on the there he is. He is listening. Thank you very much. You're welcome to come in. We've got warm coffee and a cozy seat, and but if you want to stay out there, we understand too. It's 6:50. It's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. My special guest for next hour, but he's here early, so I thought I'd throw him on the radio. Dan Halroyd. With Southern Michigan Paranormals. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, thank you for having me.
Dan, tell us just a little bit about yourself. Who is Dan Halroyd? Give us a little bit of your origin story. Where'd you come from?
Well, I was born in Vicksburg, Michigan in 1963, so I'm old. And
you're young yet.
The hospital is no longer there, but then parents divorced early when I was about 2. I was raised with my mother in Kalamazoo, went to Kalamazoo Central. So a Kalamazoo boy.
Yeah.
And, but I knew at an early age of about 5 that something was going on because we had a birthday party and I had seen a woman sitting on the couch in my grandparents' house. I can see it in my head like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And she was making hand gestures at me and wording things, but I didn't hear anything.
When you were 5, you saw this?
Yes.
Okay.
And my father was sitting on the end, which is a little bit ways away from her, but nobody in the room was acknowledging her, basically. I did notice that.
Yeah.
I know I'm 5, but my mom said I was always very aware at a very young age.
Okay.
And we went into the kitchen to do the cake and some food because we were going to do a birthday with my dad at my grandparents. They own a farm just south of Mendon. They still own it. And I noticed that when I looked back in there, the lady was gone. And my dad asked, "Hey, what are you doing?" It was more like, "Hey, boy, what are you doing?" Mm-hmm. And I go, "Where's the lady?" And he goes, "What lady? There's no lady in there."
Yeah.
And I went home and told my mom. And of course, parents, even though things had been going on with my mom and my aunts, and they kept that secret. I still do not understand why until I got sick that all the story came out. But she said it was probably my imagination. Are you sure?
Yeah.
And she pulled out some old pictures, just like you see on Unsolved Mysteries, the normal thing.
Yeah.
And she pointed out Aunt Grace, and there's my Aunt Grace, and she's wearing the same outfit.
Wow.
It's a very early color photograph of like 61.
Yeah.
Like a year or 2 before I was born. I was born in 63. And I go, "That's the lady I saw." And my mom's like, there's just no way. So that began this thing. And I would see a lot of shadow people and different things like that growing up. In fact, the house we bought up on Berkeley Street, which was 4 blocks from Henderson Castle, that's where I grew up mostly. And the house was haunted. We all knew it. Things would come up missing. Nothing really negative.
Okay.
Never felt it was negative. And that, in fact, we felt it was protective. And I had a lot of experiences there too. So this went on, like I would say, like a mid-range type of experience. But when I hit my 30s and 40s, this just started going crazy.
Really jumped up.
It ramped up. And when I was out going to school at Pima Community College in Tucson, as an artist, I have an art degree. I've done nothing with it. And
note to parents and students.
To parents, know what they're getting into. But I paid for my own schooling by cleaning movie theaters overnight. And in fact, we were cleaning them for Man Theaters. There was a group of them. The theaters located to where we were on Old Broadway. And really, to jump into it, things started happening. My buddy was a Mormon at the time, and he still believed in this stuff because he was hearing laughing, and we'd have to take each one night off. So we'd
in the theaters, you'd hear laughing where no one was supposed to be.
Laughing, it scared the jeepers out of him.
Yeah.
And he woke me up in the middle of the night. I had bedhead because I had hair back then. And I'm like, what's going on? And he said he heard stuff. So now we were not taking nights off. We were both together. And I got an idea from watching Dr. Kroll, who has since passed away, on Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
And he had put a tape recorder, I think, in the Queen Elizabeth or Queen Mary. It was one of the ships.
Yeah.
And he recorded men working, and there's nobody down there.
Wow.
And I thought, well, we have a boombox. And for those listening, hopefully somebody knows what that is.
Everyone knows what a boombox is.
So we went to the Texaco, which was right on the corner.
Yeah.
And we got some TDK tapes.
Yeah.
They were blank.
Yep.
We put one in, hit record, set the alarm, and went to a place called Whataburger.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Carl's Jr. here.
Sure.
And we came back and we listened to the tape. Nobody had been in, because you can check that on the alarm.
Yeah.
And about 5 minutes into the tape, we heard a voice.
Oh, man.
It was so hokey. And it was just like, oh, I mean, right out of a movie. And we just looked at each other like, what did we catch? And so we shared it around with another couple that had just come on board, and they were cleaning one of our theaters because we were trying to back off. It was a lot of work overnight.
Yeah.
And he asked us to bring it over, and wife heard it, and she quit on the spot.
Wow.
Because they were having stuff happen over there.
Hang on just one moment. We're going to have to put a pause in that. We're going to continue talking on the video live stream, but we're talking with Dan Halroyd. He is with Southern Michigan Paranormals. It's Halloween week, so I thought, this would be a good opportunity to talk to Dan, talk about Southern Michigan Paranormals, talk about his nearly 400 investigations, including some here in Southwest Michigan and in Berrien County. So we'll talk about that. It's all coming up for the full next hour as well. We're going to get ABC News at 7 o'clock. We've got our local news coming up, weather, sports, a whole lot more. This is WSJM.
The Moody on the Market Bold Win.
Okay, so we're still here on the video live stream. We've got a couple messages playing on the radio, but if you're on the video live stream, thanks for tuning in. And if you have any questions for Dan, please feel free to put them into the chat. And as long as you're civil, long as you're civil, we'll entertain them. So Dan, when you say cleaning theaters, you were literally cleaning up theaters.
Yeah, we had packs like Ghostbusters. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
And there were blowers, and we blew all the trash and everything under the seats down front.
Yeah.
Put it in the trash bin.
Oh, that's how they get rid of all the popcorn.
That is. They still do that. And on the floors, we would take mops, and we had to go all the way down and mop in between. That is the hardest part of the job, or it was then. And so things started to happen.
The voice that you recorded, that you heard on that tape, do you have any idea where it emanated from?
No,
who it was?
We do not know. We searched the back hallway thinking maybe we're hearing the security guards, and security said even in the mall on Broadway, it was called Park Mall, that they were hearing things in the mall that they weren't sure of. And so we knew it wasn't them. They knew it wasn't us. And strange things began to happen for the 4 years of cleaning those theaters.
Yeah.
And then we started seeing things. I'm going to include it in one of my first books to really get into it, but that just launched me into reading and looking into like Hans Holzer and a lot of things that were out there at the time. Of course, I told my mom at 13 I was going to be a zoologist and I was going to find Sasquatch. And that has not happened.
We've got them in downtown St. Joe. I see them on T-shirts.
I know.
Why is Sasquatch on a T-shirt in St. Joseph?
There's been sightings everywhere.
Okay.
And you have some woodland areas. I don't know. But that launched me into just looking into more things that would happen to me when I lived out there and even when I came home.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I'm paying attention here. I am just distracted because we have to get a couple of messages in here before we get to the ABC News at the top of the hour. We're talking with Dan Halroyd. He is with Southern Michigan Paranormals. What's your official title?
As far as the group goes?
Yeah, Southern Michigan Paranormals.
I guess founder and owner.
Okay. Owner of Southern Michigan Paranormals.
Investigator, yeah, because we have a group of people that have been with me from the start. One or two, and Bob, who's out in the van, has been, we've started working together for a while. Bob had his own group, and we would run into each other after a late night, and we'd all end up eating at Denny's.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like it was the friendship to be. And I met Bob in 2009 down at the Mason building in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Hold one moment, please. I got to get us back on the air here.
Proudly serving our community. The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Hurricane Melissa slamming Cuba as a Category 3.
Okay, sorry, that was a sloppy one, but it worked. Okay, it's a WSJM Morning Show. Good morning, I'm Ken Lundberg. And if you're just joining us, we started the video live stream a couple of minutes early this morning because our guest is here. He's Dan Halroyd, Southern Michigan Paranormals, and he's also the president of the Great Lakes Ghostbusters Coalition. And Dan has joined us today to talk a good bit about what he does as a, what would you call yourself? Are you a paranormal?
Yeah, I mean, there is a big difference between like ghost hunting and paranormal investigating.
Okay,
and,
so you're a paranormal investigator.
Well, I did some ghost hunting too, where you're with a group of people, you go out to a place and you're just trying to find spirit connectivity and some evidence.
Yeah.
And that's fine. You know, I mean, there's do's and don'ts to all of this. And as far as investigation goes, when I go to a place, my group goes to a place, we either do the research beforehand or we don't do it at all. And we wait till after because we're trying to connect names and different things if we get voices on our EVPs, which is electronic voice phenomenon on digital recorders or even cassette recorders, amongst other things. And we've been in the right places at the right time. Henderson Castle was one of the first big ones for me.
Talk to us about Henderson Castle a little bit. What is that for those who don't know? I looked up pictures on the web.
Yeah.
Didn't dive in too far because I knew we were going to be talking about it.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
It's 1895 bed and breakfast, currently owned by Francois Moyer. Him and I are just like brothers. I mean it. He's made my wife and I ambassadors of that house. He kind of vets some of the groups that want to come in and spend the night and do things. He'll mention them to me. I just don't get so involved anymore. I just said, well, whatever group wants to book a night and spend the night, whatever, let them.
Yeah.
Let them just, you know, you can't book the whole house. I don't think I have like $4,000 or $5,000 to book the whole house anymore. Because early days with the prior owner, we were able to come in and do a lot of work in the daytime. And I'm the one who opened the door for the paranormal stories at Henderson. And boy, I'll tell you what, I look at TikTok and I got to stay off of TikTok because some people start talking about hauntings and stories there, and they either get some of my information right, or it's completely skewed. You know, and I'm not angry. I just light in there like, well, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up.
Yeah.
So Frank Henderson was a businessman. He ended up going together with the Ames Corporation out of Chicago, and he built the house after seeing a castle in England, I believe, on his honeymoon. And he wanted a lavish house, and that's what he built. So most of the material in that house is from Great Lakes region. And early on in 88, when it was on paper, that's when I was started. But Frank was, I guess he was an annoyance to the architects. I've read articles from the Kalamazoo Gazette that he would come in there and look at stuff that he'd okayed, and then he'd turn around and change it until it was finally where he wanted it. Yeah. The elevator itself is a 2-person elevator, which we see on paper in 88. You don't build one after you've built your mansion.
No.
This was built at a cost of $73,000 back then. That's almost $4 million bucks. You know? And so the first time I was in there, I had a run-in with something. You guys can come to our Facebook page. I plan on doing a video to explain a couple of the run-ins I've had there over the years. And if I'm to tell everybody that I think it's haunted in a positive way, it is. And then we have a cemetery literally across the street, Mountain Home Cemetery, and there's John Fetzer's in there, you know, former owner of the Tigers and brought Cablevision, the Gilmore family. There's some Gilmores in there. There's a lot of people, and including Frank and Mary, who are buried on a hill. So in his will, it was so he could see the house.
Wow. Hold that thought. We've got to come back. We're talking with Dan Halroyd. He's with Southern Michigan Paranormals. We'll have this conversation. We'll reset, start from the beginning. It's all coming up right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We've got to get some local news in and some weather and sports. It's WSJM.
Our bad credit.
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
It's 7:05. It's the WSJM Morning Show for Wednesday, October 29th. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. Thank you for joining the WSJM Morning Show. We're talking with a special guest this morning, Dan Halroyd with Southern Michigan Paranormals, and we'll continue that interview after news here on the video live stream, and after sports, you'll hear it back on the radio. But Dan has been doing paranormal investigations for what, since 2008, would you say? 2008 formally you've been doing that with Southern Michigan Paranormals?
I go with 2006.
Okay.
Then you're going from 24 years maybe to 22. I'm really trying to hone that down. I just say 22 years plus.
Okay, 22 years plus. So for at least 2 decades plus, he's been leading Southern Michigan Paranormals and a whole lot of other activity, including investigations here in Southwest Michigan in Berrien County. So we'll talk about those things in just a moment. We've got to get a weather forecast in, and then our news. Partly cloudy skies. A high today of 57 is what we expect. The wind is going to continue out of the east, gusting to 30 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, partly cloudy, a low around 40, and northeast winds. It's shifting a little bit, gusting to 20 miles per hour. Thursday's forecast, partly cloudy, a slight chance of a shower, and a high around 53. The north winds will continue. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and probably into Monday as well, we're going to have partly sunny skies, but with a chance of lake effect rain showers. A 30% chance of that, a 20% chance on Thursday, a 30% chance on Friday, and then a 40% chance of rain on Saturday. So just keep that in mind as you go out and about. All right, so some of the news from the WSJM newsroom this morning. The U.S. federal government shutdown is in its 29th day now. Area Congressman Bill Huizenga says the impacts are widening. He says lawmakers are hopeful for a resolution, but in the meantime, federal food assistance benefits, he says, are the next to suffer.
By November 1, SNAP and WIC, those are the 2 food assistance programs that go to some of the most vulnerable folks in society. They're not going to be able to be funded.
Huizenga blamed Senate Democrats and said they should agree to a continuing resolution so they can reopen the federal government.
This is getting very real very quickly, and it's time it ends. And we've talked about before, this is an entirely avoidable situation. Entirely avoidable.
He said Republicans are willing to negotiate on issues like Affordable Care Act subsidies, but only after the government is allowed to reopen. With a pause in SNAP benefits starting this weekend, New Heights CCDA has launched its annual Community Food Network fundraiser early. Director Chris Britton said the program supports Benton Heights households with food while connecting them with other services.
We don't want to just put a Band-Aid on the problem. We want to help these families move from the place of scarcity. We want to help them stabilize, and we want to help them move on to success.
New Heights works with groups like Michigan Works to help families train for jobs. Britton said the SNAP situation underscores the ongoing need in our area.
The urgency was always there, but this really changes things. One, as I thought about it, I thought, oh my goodness, so many of our households that are part of Community Food Network and will be a part of Community Food Network for their 2-year membership, they're greatly affected by this.
The network currently assists about 90 households. The fundraiser goal is $10,000, which would unlock, Britton says, a matching grant from the Frederick S. Upton Foundation, allowing 20 more families to join. Donations are open online. You can find more information in the story we have posted at WSJM.com. Lake Michigan water temperatures are running a bit warmer than normal, which could affect the weather that we'll experience this winter. National Weather Service meteorologist Chris Roller said the lake temperature plays a critical role in lake effect weather patterns.
the spring and fall time frame tend to be our breeziest, and so it can help to bring down some extra stronger winds during this time of year. It can also, during the winter time, help to create some more instability to get some better precipitation formation as a result of lake enhancement, lake effect rain, lake effect snow.
Roller said the lake is at 56 to 58 degrees Fahrenheit currently, compared with a typical 54 degrees found in late October. And a former Lawton Public Schools employee has been charged with embezzlement. The Van Buren County Prosecutor's Office has charged former district bookkeeper Andrea Rice Keister with the crime of embezzling an amount between $50,000 and $100,000. She was arraigned last week. In a produced message posted to social media, the school superintendent, Ben Banfield, spoke to the issue.
Recently, we found out that a longtime employee embezzled district funds, over $100,000 over a course of 2 years. As a taxpayer, community member, and a father of 3 Lawton students, I know how hard people work for every dollar that supports our schools, and it's frustrating to see that trust broken.
Banfield said the matter is being handled. He said the district remains focused on students as the case moves forward. Rice Keister faces up to 15 years in prison if convicted. That's a look at some of the news that we have from the WSJM newsroom this morning. We have more to talk about. We've got our sports coming up from Dave Wolf in just a moment. But first off, I want to reintroduce our special guest who is here in the studio this morning, Dan Halroyd. He is with Southern Michigan Paranormals, and we're going to be talking with him this hour about what it is he does, what he's found in his occupation here, including in Southwest Michigan. And we're talking about spirits and ghosts, right?
We are.
Good morning and welcome again. Give people, for those who might just be joining the interview, just a brief overview of your background.
Was born.
You're born and you live and you're here today.
And things happen from an early age.
No, you're from the Kalamazoo area.
I am. And it's just carried on through my life, and it became more pronounced.
What is paranormal?
Well, it's anything outside the norm.
Okay.
And because when I first told my wife that I was going to start a group, because I'd been going out doing things, she goes, "What is that?" And she'll still talk about that to this day. She's a great cheerleader, but she's also part of the team.
Okay.
And when I told her, and when she first heard one of our early EVPs, which was electronic voice phenomenon, which you'll see on all the shows, I had captured a voice, and it was excuse me, my coffee's coming up.
No, that's all right.
Out of East Hall, Western Michigan University. We've been going there once a week for 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Trying to get information because the administrator there said, "Hey, we're renting classes out to students in this building," and they're hearing all sorts of stories. And for sure, I got an EVP out of there. And when I first played that on my studio speakers, like you have in here, because I had my office set up in a corner of the living room, she came around the corner and, "What the HELL is that?" And I go, "I don't know." I asked the question, "Is this your playroom?" And the next thing you know, there it is. And it's so loud, you think I would have heard it. I didn't hear a thing. You hear children on there, all sorts of crazy stuff. So a lot of our EVPs, you either hear them and you record them, which that's rare.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that you don't think anything is going on. And I'm sensitive too, by the way. And then I go home and go through the evidence, and there's all sorts of things going on, which I didn't pick up on.
Yeah.
So I just let it happen when it happens. And I've been lucky to be in a lot of right places at the right time. And my process is to use the scientific method. And if people don't know what that is, look it up.
Yeah.
And I try to debunk everything first before I put it out there.
Okay.
Because I don't just want to claim everything is haunted. Because we've been to places that are well known. And just because I say it wasn't haunted for us doesn't mean it doesn't show itself for another group, which that happens too.
Yeah.
So as far as Berrien area, one of my favorite places down here, you had the guest on, Rhiannon.
Right.
Saison. And she allowed us to go into the courthouse, and we
over in Berrien Springs. Yep.
We have a lot of stuff from the courthouse. There's a film on YouTube by a gentleman by the name of Papa Paranormal. You can look him up. It's Drew Ellsworth McRae, and some of it's in the dark, but you can see some of the things that we encountered there. And
at the courthouse,
and different buildings on the courthouse property, including we think we have some stuff on camera when we're out on the property too.
Mm.
So she's not new to this. She's old hat, as she described, being out in Texas and all this stuff. And it was wonderful to talk to somebody who kind of understood me.
Yeah.
And so we've done that. We've done a little bit of work down there near Silver Beach. I'd like to get in some more in this area, but we've done some private homes, which I can talk about kind of what happened, but
Sure.
I obviously can't tell you where it is.
Okay.
And we've had some things where, unfortunately, a lot of people want to use the D word.
D word.
The big demon. I got a demon in my
Oh,
house.
okay,
And
okay.
not the other D word. And I'm just like, and I don't say it anymore, but I'd be like, well, I'll be the judge of that. And
Yeah.
so we'd come in and do our thing, and multiple visits, different times. We don't always have to do it at night, just trying to shake it loose. And there's a lot that we saw some activity going on, and we through research, we felt that might have been like grandparents or somebody who was related to those people.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot, it wasn't. There are people who have not passed on. They don't want to give up their house. They don't want to give up their space. And I have some friends, it took years to find the people who are real. And I give them a call. We have them come in, and they would do their magic. And long and behold, some of that stuff would disappear. So I'm not sure that I believe in the whole demon aspect, but I do know that when I do lectures, I'm going to put a little comedy in here. So I have everybody raise their hand. Everybody in here know an a-hole? And everybody raises their hand. You might be the a-hole sitting next to another a-hole. I don't know. And I go, people are a-holes when they're alive, and they can be the same way when they have not passed on.
Okay.
So I don't always think that it's ghosts sometimes either. That might shock some of the listeners.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think there's parallel existence. Sometimes we think there might be a time slip, and that's due to some cases I've worked. And we've put that stuff to the test, because some of the answers and the theory at the end of the investigation don't seem to fall in line.
Okay. Well, hold that thought. We've got to get to some sports on the radio. We're going to continue this interview right now on the video live stream. We're talking with Dan Halroyd. He's with Southern Michigan Paranormals here on the WSJM Morning Show. Boy, you just opened up this issue, obviously, paranormal activity, people spend their lives and you still don't touch all of it.
Bob and I were talking about how, early on ghost hunters came on, and there was a peak, and then there was a line. And when we got into it, there were like, maybe,
do you do this as an occupation? Is this your full time?
No, I never charge. We never charge money. I say it was like a hobby, but I was obsessed with it because I knew the things I saw.
Yeah.
I don't want to get weird or religious here, but I had a moment with my sensitivity that I sat in my podcast room and I said, what do you want me to do with this? Because I was telling people it seemed like sometimes it seemed to be a curse. Like things would happen, or I'd see things, I had communication, and I felt a warm light come in, and I heard a voice in my head say, go forward, bear witness, and help. So with the private stuff, that's what I do. And I still do that. I try to help people as best I can. But we really started to focus on like well-known locations, famous locations, like the State Theater, the USS Silversides. I can give you a list. The LSD 393 in Muskegon. We were the first to do those. We've done some of the hotels along the Lakeshore, South Haven. We did the Hotel Nichols when my wife worked there, and we found that to be very haunted. And the current owners know that there's still some strange stuff that goes on there.
And by haunted, the definition as you think of it, does it mean negative spirits are in that, or does it just mean there are spirits?
It's not throwing things like poltergeist, doing anything over the top. It's just that we pick up voices where there should not be. We use REM pods, which will activate to energy change. We do EMF, which is electromagnetic fields.
Yeah.
So we do an array of things to eliminate, the normal.
Yeah.
EMFs, we do a base reading of most of the places we're at, just to say, well, there's an outlet, there's a ceiling fan. So then when we're in there and we've turned the power off and we have something moving around, which we've had at a place that had no power, nothing. We think we're onto something.
Mm.
And we've done historic houses in Kalamazoo. There's a list. So
Yeah.
we're at 324 investigations.
How long
And
does an investigation typically take?
the minimum is 4 hours because
Okay.
we get there and it takes time to set up. And
Yeah.
we want to spend at least 2 or 3 hours in there. And then maximum, I've been at a place 18 hours.
Hmm.
So we got to do Port Huron, Michigan's first lighthouse. And I know other groups had been there, but it was fun for us
Yeah.
to finally say we got it marked off the board. But we've been invited back every year at Frankenfest. I'm the paranormal lecturer there, and we do the hospital there. And there's just an array of things in Southwest Michigan that I've been at. You know, Felt Mansion, we were allowed to work that a little bit early on, way back. I mean, years ago, before, you know, owners have changed hands, and we felt there was something going on there. I didn't believe the whole melon head thing.
Yeah.
Even though I went in the woods and looked.
I don't know the melon head thing. So let's put a pin in that. We've got to get back on the radio here. We've got a quick weather forecast. We're talking with Dan Halroyd with Southern Michigan Paranormals. He's also the president of Great Lakes Ghostbusters Coalition. We'll unpack a little bit more on the paranormal investigation, and then we'll hopefully get a couple of stories on your Southwest Michigan, your Berrien County explorations here on the WSJM Morning Show. Be right back.
Partly sunny skies today, breezy and cool, high temperatures around 55 degrees, some of the wind gusts out of the east at 30 miles an hour. Partly cloudy overnight tonight, overnight temperatures dropping down to near 40. And then for Thursday, partly cloudy skies, slight chance of a shower, but most of the day will be dry with a high of only 53. Lake effect rain showers are expected Friday and Saturday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:21, it's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning, I'm Ken Lundberg. It's Wednesday, October 29th, and we've got temperature outside right now in Benton Harbor, 41 degrees, St. Joseph, 43, and South Haven, 41 degrees. Clear skies all around. 39 in Dowagiac right now, so it's a little bit chilly there. Our special guest in the studio this morning is Dan Halroyd. He is with Southern Michigan Paranormals, and we've been talking quite a bit on the video live stream. If you miss any of the video live stream, go back. You can watch it. It'll be archived immediately following the end of the program this morning at 8 o'clock. It'll be on YouTube, on Facebook, and on our WSJM Smart app. But Dan, you've been talking a little bit about some of your background and how you approach an investigation. Talk a little bit, if you would. How does this interaction typically happen for a paranormal investigation to begin?
Well,
you get a phone call.
Yeah, and we get emails like you were just reading one off.
Yeah,
and we go that route. Then we try to talk to them first.
Talk to the
via
who?
phone,
the owners,
whoever wants us to come in.
Okay,
because I have a series of questions that's built to pick out certain things.
Yeah. Lay it on us, or if you would. Do you want to?
Well, I mean, some of them we ask them twice the same way, but differently.
Okay.
So it's like running.
It's like you're interviewing a politician.
Well, exactly. Because I come from corporate security background.
Okay.
I run everything that we did in the group, just like I'm doing an interview, or we're trying to find something else from people who've done something they don't want to admit.
Okay.
And that's not to call the people liars. It's just that I want to be sure that they're not seeking attention because of the TV shows.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when I was talking earlier about, how Bob and I watched where it's like a graph, it goes up and down, and now there's more groups than ever, and there's a whole new culture in YouTube.
Yeah.
And we had done internet TV. So back to what you asked, I mean, I set them up just like I'm conducting, an interview to get somebody who's done a crime.
Yeah.
I guess if you want to put it that way. And then we'll go there and we'll take a walk around first. And if we feel that it warrants us coming in with the crew, then we'll come in. And I got to make sure that the place is safe, because Bob and I were also talking about some places we've been where there was some crack activity and some different things going on. And I'm like, okay, look at the time.
Goodness.
Got to go.
Okay.
And, you run afoul of some of that stuff, but the majority of what we have done, the reason the number's so high since 2008 is that my group wanted to do stuff every Friday, every Saturday, maybe one or two in the weekday. And here I was already working 60, 70 hours. And I'm like, I'm staying up all night. And my wife at one point said, we have to have a talk.
Yeah.
And the talk was, we're headed for a divorce. I mean, you're always gone. You've become obsessed with this, and you're doing good stuff. And it'd be nice to see the kids before they graduate college. So the college thing didn't happen except for one of my kids, but she was right. I had to find a balance. And so we just continue forward, just doing what we do. I don't think we're any better than anybody else.
Yeah.
It's just that.
So there are many organizations out there that do this, what you do.
There's so many. And I wish a lot of them would do the scientific method more and really look at the stuff they're presenting. Because a lot of it, I still watch it. I'm yelling at the TV.
Yeah.
And my wife is just like, why do you even watch when all you're doing is yelling? I'm like, well, because they're not doing certain things to cancel out this and that. And they misidentify a lot of property camera stuff too.
Okay. So talking about how you get into an investigation, somebody reaches out, they contact you, or you have a curiosity about a certain place because you've heard things. You do an interview with the people, then you get on site, take a look at the surroundings, make sure it's safe for you and your crew to go through. Assuming all those things are clear by you, and you mentioned that you have a sense for things. What do you mean by that?
Well, if the door's open to on the veil that we call it, there's times I get names, just they pop into my head, or I see people in my head. It's like a quick photograph. And that's happened several times. And off the year, when you were reading something about a Gold's bar, all you got to do is contact us. I've eaten at that bar. I think I know which bar you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
And so on to other things, I want to make sure we're safe, but I also want to make sure that people understand, because this has been trampled onto. We've gone to do houses or even some businesses, and they're bringing their aunt, their uncle.
Oh, they're making it a show.
It's like a show.
Yeah.
And we've had to tell them, it's like, I need you guys to go somewhere else until we're done, because I can't have all of you running around,
making noise and everything else.
It just contaminates what we're trying to do.
Okay.
In fact, some of my own people were doing that on occasion, because they thought, I can wear my digital recorder on a lanyard around my neck. And I just want to make sure I tell everybody, don't do that. Because all I hear when I listen back to some of the recordings is, and that's because it's
the back and forth rubbing on the fabric.
Yeah.
So you set up the equipment in the house, and then what?
Then we separate into teams. We try to keep it down to about 4 people, including like at State Theater, we did that. I think we had 2 groups of 3, and we just start at a location. The other group starts at a different location. You try to be as quiet as you can. You pass each other, and each takes a turn, work in certain areas. And
when you're working an area, you're just measuring what it is that is there.
Right. And we do EVP sessions. So, we would sit very quietly and say, is there anybody here with us tonight who would like to come forward and speak with us? So it's no different than any other thing that's out there. You're opening a door to communication.
Has anyone answered when you asked that question?
Oh, yeah. I got several of them.
Tell us about it.
I actually have some in my pocket because I wasn't sure if you wanted
some.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And on a thumb drive. And they do. I've asked at West Hall, is this your place to play? And I heard nothing. I go home, I hear children, and you hear me rubbing on the rail, which, when you're learning to do this, just don't put the recorder in the same hand. And it was so loud. And my wife heard it's no place to play, and I hate it. And he sounds angry because I asked that question. And again, she's like, what is that? And I'm like, I don't know. The submarine, we have very loud EVP. It's in about 7:30 in the morning. We're getting ready to finally leave. And I fell asleep on the enlisted men's bench area in their kitchen.
Yeah.
And my buddy's like, Dan, you're making way too much noise over there. I play it at Henderson, and I mumble, I'll do what I want to do, because he woke me up. But I didn't realize I had left the recorder going on the table next to us.
Yeah.
And Tina Truax and my wife start laughing. And what did he say? And they say, boy, you're speaking in tongues. And right after that, there's a loud voice that goes, speaking in tongues. Wow, wow, wow. It's really loud. And we heard nothing. We didn't hear this till the next day.
Yeah.
Again, so we went to Fayette, Michigan. We were hearing crashes in the Opera House. We got special, let in by the Rangers that we knew up there.
Yeah.
And we went in there and nothing was broken. We thought a picture had fallen. It was that loud. We heard people yelling at us, and there's nobody out there. I mean, there were yachts there camped alongside, so you guys can look it up online. It's called Fayette, Michigan. It's in Garden. And we had a Scooby-Doo night. We had two clouds sitting over a full moon.
Yeah.
And they moved apart. I mean,
yeah,
just experiences like that. Being in homes where I'm not a big orb guy, but we've seen an orb come out of a fuel tank and go in between my girls investigating in the basement and then go up a set of steps. Now, 7-degree.
That's going to make you pause.
Winter conditions. There are no bugs flying around in that basement. That was the only one we had at that whole thing. But I thought I'd seen somebody upstairs, Scotty Bud Melvin, who's on the radio with the zoo. He's part of my group. He's a satellite member.
Yeah.
And he had some strange stuff happen there years ago when we were there too.
Hold that thought. We will come back in just a moment. We'll get some of our local stories next here on the WSJM Morning Show. We'll continue the interview with Dan Halroyd. He is with Southern Michigan Paranormals. It's Halloween week, so we thought we'd bring somebody in who's experienced a lot more of what can we call it, haunted houses than many others. So we'll have that continue in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Here on the radio, we've got our financial news that's coming up from Bloomberg next.
What would you call?
All right. Thank you for sharing this, by the way.
No worries.
Appreciate it. Do you encounter skeptics?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I'm skeptical until I see it and we have things happen. I think you should be.
Yeah.
Everybody should be. You should question everything to a point. Now I think if you're out there saying, I don't believe in God, and God comes down and slaps you in the face, I don't think you should be that skeptical, but we do. And all I tell all those people anymore is that I'm not set out anymore to prove this. I know the phenomenon's real. I'm going to let you listen and look at the stuff that I have.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what's going on in the background. In fact, I have a filing cabinet about this tall.
Yeah.
And front to back, it's full of every case. I do a hard file of every case.
Yeah.
Because, God forbid something go down with, laptops, anything that's electronic. And, I have a copy. In fact, the last one I just did a report. So it's just enormous thing that I'm just so hooked on. And I wish other groups out there the best. I don't have any hard feelings towards anybody. I think I did for a little while, but I don't anymore.
Hard feelings? Why?
Well, it's just being above board, as we said early on.
Yeah.
It's just like, there's some things. So
I'm going to, if I made assumptions about what you say about being above board, there are people out there who have no interest in investigating the paranormal that just do it purely for profit motive. Is that what you're talking about?
I think so. I think there are people who do some books too, and I'm going to get a lot of hate mail. Make sure you send it to Mike McKelly at RKR. Mike loves that I do that.
Oh boy.
I'm not besmirching anyone. All I'm saying is that it's a new thing now that everybody who's involved in this has to have a book. I've been hounded and hounded and hounded. I finally did a secondary book with Francois at the castle. There was already one out. We did a part 2. And then the publisher butchers my name, says Daniel Halroyd. And I'm like, just let it go, man. You're in print, And, I talked shortly about Claire Burley, who I had a run-in with there. That's a very famous story. And that was my first time visiting.
What happened there?
First visit there, we were doing an investigation. We were allowed to walk through, and we went up into the tower, which is now a room of storage. And I heard somebody to my left go, "Hey," just like that. And I asked my wife and the person that was there with us, "Did you hear that?" And they're like, "No."
This is during the investigation.
Broad daylight.
Yeah. Okay.
During the investigation, just to walk through, and we just had recorders going.
Yeah.
Recorder didn't catch it. And I asked her, and she always gets a little irritated with me. And she's like, no, Dan, we don't all hear what you hear. And as I looked in, it was a storage room, which is it's now a bathroom, but it had gone in about 6-7 feet, and it was flat on the floor. Then there was a regress up to another place where you stored Christmas items.
Yeah.
And then there was a little loft, and there was a bunch of stuff stored in there, but there were cobwebs. I mean, it was full of stuff. And I could see the front of one of the pictures. They were stacked on the floor. And it was from Mr. Royce, who owned the castle before, the McNellis's got it. And it was a Halloween poster. And I thought I saw something on it. And I went and got the owner. She said, I haven't had this room unlocked except for you in 3 years, because there was a gas line under the carpet right on the edge of the door. She didn't want us to step on it. So she put a carpet up there, because if you did, you'd set the house on fire.
Yeah.
It was 1895, and they still had gas running in there.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were doing. So we went in, and I broke all the cobwebs. I stirred the dust, and I saw in writing, if you go to Southern Michigan Paranormals on Facebook, everybody, you'll see a picture of that print, and you'll see the name Claire has been written in it. Plain as day. And then I scratched above to see how fresh the dust is. And there's no way that was sitting like that for 3 years. And so to break the short of this down, it took a year to find out that it was not Clara Henderson, one of their daughters.
Yeah.
It actually was a man that we discovered across the street named Claire Burley.
Hold for one moment. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
9 WSJM.
Sorry about that. That's the perils of moving back and forth between the video live stream and the radio. We're talking with Dan Halroyd. He's with Southern Michigan Paranormals, and we were just in the middle of finish that story.
Well, we found out after I tripped over his headstone. This is a year into trying to figure out who Claire was.
Yeah.
And I'm leaving a lot out. And we did an EVP session live time, which means we ask a question, I play it back. And we got a gruffled yes. I go, is this you who came to me at the castle?
Yeah.
And so he was in the same company, different unit as James Henderson, who was Frank's son, Spanish-American War.
Huh.
And I'm like, what in the world? So I gave it to my research person. She's the one that found all that out. To Denise, I give her big thanks.
Yeah.
And she came back with a stack of stuff at the coffee shop. And what she found was a book called The Michigan 98. And it was a pictorial history of all the volunteer units. And there was a picture of him, Claire, in his unit, his hat cocked. He was the band major in his unit. And now we have a face. And that's not how I saw him in my head, because that's what drew me over there. I saw him in a little brown suit, and he was bent over. And so we presented that, everything that was going on around that, which again, I can share that at another time.
Yeah.
All of it ceased. I went over there and shared it with the owners, and they were very emotional about it.
Yeah.
Because Frank Henderson had given that unit a flag down at the Kalamazoo train station and watched them muster out to Vicksburg, and then Vicksburg to wherever they were going. And I think that's pretty cool connection in less than a year, because I was led astray by my own thoughts. I should have just listened to my friend Christy Robinette, who's a psychic medium, and she said, I don't think it's a girl, I think it's a man. And she was right. And that led to a visit where the owners called me in and thanked me for all that information, and they were going to print some stuff and add it to the story. And we also got letters back from the Veterans Administration, because they didn't know where he was buried.
Oh.
So thanks for finding him. And I still have those in file. And then I got another one from the Spanish-American War honor roll, because they didn't know where he was either.
Wow.
So Denise got a hold of his draft induction, and his wife, they got a divorce, and she said that he was cantankerous. I can't say the word, but you can have the BAS.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
And, we had a lot of stuff, but not Frank, but Pete and Laura came in and hand presented that picture to me. It's in gold leaf. I still have it at home.
Yeah.
It's preserved on the wall. You can still see Claire.
And it sounds to me like you helped provide some closure.
We think that's what it was. Right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, hold one moment. We've got to get some more news, and we've got a few more minutes with Dan Halroyd with Southern Michigan Paranormals. We'll be right back.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. As Hurricane Melissa plows across Cuba, those in Jamaica are still looking at the destruction on that island. ABC's Ika Jachi's there.
Jamaican officials saying St. Elizabeth Parish is underwater. 75 patients had to be moved from a hospital after it lost power and sustained damage to the roof. The infrastructure is severely compromised, with more than 500,000 Jamaicans without power. That's about 77% of the island.
The Federal Reserve is finishing up its October meeting today. At its conclusion, an announcement on lowering a key interest rate is expected. President Trump visiting South Korea, meeting with President Lee Jae-myung, and also working on a trade deal with South Korea. Tomorrow, he will sit down with China's Xi Jinping. Lawmakers in Washington are trying to come up with a workaround so members of the military can still be paid, and so federal food assistance is not cut off from millions of Americans amid the government shutdown. This is day 29. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
740 is the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Back to our interview with Dan Halroyd in just a moment. Some of the news that we have coming up just after 8 o'clock. A new plan is being proposed for the use of the Nye Apple Barn property on Niles Road near I-94 in St. Joseph Township. The Township Planning Commission on Monday this week considered a new request for a planned unit development and a special use permit for owner John Nye, who has a new vision of constructing an apartment building at that location, plus a gas station, convenience store, restaurants, and a welcome center at the site. So we'll tell you a little bit more about that and some more residents in that area coming out in opposition. Also coming up in the news after 8 o'clock, 10 arrests made this week connected to a domestic violence warrant sweep conducted by the Berrien County Sheriff's Department. And the Twin Cities Area Transportation Authority reviewing about 6 proposals from firms seeking to manage Benton Harbor's Dial-A-Ride service. Those stories and more coming up at a little after 8 o'clock right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We're continuing our interview with Dan Halroyd. He's with Southern Michigan Paranormals. That's coming up here on the video live stream right now.
The Michigan.
Maybe a question that you receive very often from people you just meet. You see anything around here?
I knew you were going to ask that. I don't.
Okay.
But I don't know that it's open that much for me this morning.
Okay.
I was telling him, I think because of my back injury.
Okay.
But I feel like there's somebody. I think we all have guardians.
Yeah.
And I think there's somebody watching over you.
Oh.
And I would almost venture to say, and it's okay to be wrong, I could be getting it from anybody around this area, but this one is involved in like a car accident. And it would be somebody who was related to you. And I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
When they give me stuff, it's like a puzzle.
Yeah.
And I'm not supposed to have the answers because I'll tell you what I know about paranormal. I'll tell you straight out, Ken.
Yeah.
I had nothing. I practice what I do and I try to find answers, and it just opens more doors.
How did you school up on it? How did you school yourself up on it?
Read a lot of Hans Holzer, who's like the grandfather of paranormal, and the Psychical Research Center has a lot of books out from London, England. There's good and bad and the ugly. I know a lot of people are Warren fans. I'm not a Warren fan.
You're talking about Ed and Lorraine.
Yeah, just get that out of the way.
Yeah.
But you know, it's hard to tell what I was reading so many things like Famous Ghosts of England, all sorts of stuff. And then as far as getting into how you do this, that's how I kind of indirectly met Bob, was that he was with another person and I had asked him about coming on board and getting trained at what you guys do. Cause I kind of had an idea. And his partner said no. And then Bob and I ended up meeting in 2009. And it was like magic. You know, by then I had already been schooled by some other people into using infrared cameras and digital recorders. I mean, I got so much stuff sitting in my basement that I barely use. I'm telling you, folks, you can spend a lot of money on this hobby.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And is it still just a hobby for you?
It's a mission. It's a mission to provide answers and to show, as I said earlier, not to prove, but to just show that this phenomenon is real. And it doesn't have to be scary, guys. I think there's a lot more after death. And I think running into having dreams with my mother showing up and some other people that have passed in my life. And I've lost 5 people from SMP. They've passed on.
SMP.
My Southern Michigan Paranormals group.
Oh, okay.
And that's pretty special to me too, in kind of a weird way. I knew how to mourn a little differently. And I knew that I think I've heard from a couple of them. And we just learned of one, Randy, who was with us for a while. And he went out to Dodge City and passed away. And so we all have an agreement, and it's not happened yet. I'm angry at my friends who have passed away, including a guy who broke open some of the Bachelor's Grove stuff in Chicago. His name was Jason Sullivan. I said, you guys need to come to my house and unroll my toilet paper roll in the middle of the night. We don't have a cat, so I know it wouldn't be the cat.
Yeah.
And it's not happened yet, but
yeah,
I've been seeing stuff in this house, and my wife has too. And one of our dogs passed away, and we still think we're seeing Luke. And we have a new dog who will sit and stare in the kitchen. So I think there's animal ghosts as well.
What's the scariest thing you've ever seen?
It was a solid person. I was working security for what was then Pharmacia Upjohn. And we were decommissioning a building, and it was about 3 p.m. It was 2 days before 4th of July. And that's what I was thinking about, because my wife was pregnant, and I did not want to go camp with my mom in Howe, Indiana in a tent with a pregnant wife.
That's a bad idea.
So I came out of this machine room, and I heard a laugh, and I looked down towards the floor, and I see a face staring at me, and they would have had to have been horizontal to the floor. And I could tell it was a female. She had her hands on the door jamb, and they removed the doors, and I looked at the panel real quick. It said instrument room. And this is on the 4th floor of the then high rise, the old Upjohn building. And I looked at her, and when she let go of the door jamb, she didn't, I don't know if anybody can see me, she didn't do this.
Yeah.
She started with her pinkies, like El Creepo. And then she moved, and I heard a rush of air. I didn't see her hair move because she had like a bob cut.
Yeah.
But the look on her face was just like, who are you? And it's less wider than your studio.
Yeah.
And I was on the other side, and as I looked down, I don't see anybody. And I thought, I'm going downstairs to whoop everybody's butt because I work with these guys. And that's another reason I don't say I'll be the judge of that, because they were telling me 4th and 5th floor were haunted, and they knew I was into this stuff. And that kind of went on a couple times. I saw, like I'm looking at you, I saw people from a distance just walking around up there, and it's locked off. I have the only access. Wow. I won't say it scared me, but it provides a shock. And I remember talking to myself very loudly, like, Dan, you're bigger than this. If you're going to be doing this, you got to walk through it. You're protected. And I do say protection prayers when we do investigations, because we do cemeteries too. And we also tell them out loud that you're not allowed to go home with us. You got to stay here, because they will attach.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Hold that. We'll be right back for our Moody on the Market update. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Back with more with Dan Halroyd, Southern Michigan Paranormals, in just a moment.
Partly cloudy overnight tonight. Overnight temperatures dropping down to near 40. And then for Thursday, partly cloudy skies, slight chance of a shower, but most of the day will be dry with a high of only 53. Lake effect rain showers are expected Friday and Saturday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
748 WSJM Morning Show continues. I'm Ken Lundberg. Our guest this morning, this hour, has been Dan Halroyd, Southern Michigan Paranormals. We're going to have to ask you to come back, because, there's a lot to unpack here. But let's make this part of our Moody on the Market update. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. Our Moody on the Market update, we talk about business updates. We talk about life in Southwest Michigan and why we love it here. We also talk about interesting people you should know. Today, we'll add to that, in addition to life in Southwest Michigan, maybe beyond Southwest Michigan.
Sorry.
Dan Halroyd is with the Southern Michigan Paranormals. Give us a story about, or an account of what you've experienced here in Berrien County. You already talked about the courthouse. You want to talk about where do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple cemeteries in this area. There's one down in Niles, Silverbrook, I think it's called. It's huge. And in fact, we had a partner in my group looked at buying the Beeson Mansion, and long and behold, somebody else beat us to it because she was going to turn it into a haunt and restore the house because it had been like a crack den or something. And we had worked the cemeteries there, got a lot of stuff out of that cemetery. We tried to follow up on the witch legend that's part of Silverbrook. And there's a lot of work that we filmed and taped and stuff I haven't even gotten to yet because all summer we were going there. There's the Beeson itself is interesting because we went to the mausoleum and people are still leaving toys and candles there. The Fort St. Joseph is another site that we couldn't get into the dig, which I'm not going to disturb their scientific dig.
Sure.
But up there where they have the 4 flags, we were getting EMF hits, maybe some EVPs. Again, some of them are so light, they're whispers. And those are 2 places we were focusing on. I had recently done an event with Rhiannon at the brewery. Iron Horse. Iron Horse.
Yep.
Yeah. Shoe, horse, ring, iron something.
Yeah.
And I had a good time there, and I met a gentleman by the name of Tim. And Tim had written a dissertation on EMF machines. And there's so much in town. We went into the Curiosity and Oddity store, which I know a person who's already done it. And then they're like, well, if you want to come in here anytime. And I'm like, well, you got a lot of weird stuff in here. And it just presents itself. But we've done the Niles Cemetery. I've done the Niles Theater. My friend who got me involved in the Ghostbuster thing, I've been involved since '84 as a fan, but he got me involved in it because they were already doing something. And we got stuff out of the theater. We got things that was at night with permission of the police. We got things out of the cemetery that I think would make a lot of people's hair raise. You know, when you're seeing something 6 foot tall walk through the cemetery and I and 4 other witnesses are seeing it. And, you know, we're not leading into each other's hysteria. I trust these people.
Yeah.
We just didn't know what to make of it. It's Berrien County's got a lot of famous places, histories, bridges I've yet to touch. I still got a whole list of places here to go. It's
incredible. Dan Halroyd, Southern Michigan Paranormals, Iron Shoe Distillery. You were right.
Iron Shoe.
Yeah. Iron Shoe Distillery down in Niles. And so you went by that place. And have you ever thought, you know, have you ever had an experience where you thought to yourself, maybe I should find a different hobby?
No, my group is like, you're the one that goes in there where angels fear to tread type of thing.
Yeah.
Nothing really puts me off enough that I'm that frightened.
Okay.
I know I'm protected.
You've got a good constitution then. Because I'm the hair's raising up on my neck on this.
Well, hang on now. I don't want jump scares. Okay. Because, you know, that's part of the story that happened there at Pharmacia, you know, when I finally saw this thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't want jump scares.
Yeah.
You know, because I will still react to that, but I'm not frightened.
Okay.
I'm not. I've seen more weird stuff in daylight hours that bother me more than anything that I've seen at night. And I should write a book about that too, like what your kids are really doing when they go to college, all sorts of stuff.
No, please.
And you know, I tread lightly in certain aspects of it, and I'm just not frightened by what I'm doing. I'm trying to, even for myself, I really want to find more answers.
Yeah.
You know, so I can share it with more people who believe. And there's a good amount of people out there who are right-minded and they believe.
Okay.
But they're still skeptical. That's good.
We're talking with Dan Halroyd, Southern Michigan Paranormals. He's our special guest this hour here on the WSJM Morning Show. This segment brought to you by our Moody on the Market Update Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. Back with more in just a moment.
Rich Brandon, Tara calls.
Here on the video live stream we stay. Okay, so we've talked about Silver Beach. We talked about the courthouse out in Berrien Springs. Private residences as well?
Yeah, the first one I ever did was in Saugatuck.
Okay.
And it was a bungalow. It's still there. And it turned out there was a missing person case, which is still famous. It's still attached to that bungalow, where a guy who was renting the back of the bungalow just up and disappeared. And when we went there to do this investigation with these people, we found out that, you know, they were witches, and I'm not saying anything negative towards that, but the stuff was going on in the house. In fact, I caught some strange orb activity and some strange shadow movement on a VCR and a video camera. That's how I started out. And he took me in the back of the house, the guy that had keys to the place. And here's all this kid stuff still laying on the table. There's dust, there's rotten food. And then we discovered a basement, which turned out to be Creepy McCreep. So there was a lot going on, and I've done a lot of private investigations, but I've backed off that now, because sometimes we were talking about this yesterday, Bob and I, that again, the people are looking for attention and they're saying different things. And then we look into it and it's not quite what it is.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to be the guy trying to move somebody on to some place that I'm not quite sure. You'd think that I would be, because I'm a spiritual guy. Now, Bob and I, we worked a haunted pig farm at Darkside Acres over near Hillsdale. And we had a temperature change, and we were talking to somebody named Chuck. And Bob and I did our best. We told him to go towards the light. And first time I experienced a temperature change. And we think that he moved into the light, and then there was no more communication. So that scare park, which is what it is, it's been that way for quite a few years, has a notorious history, including mafia connections and different things. And so there's a lot of things I've done. I've been a lot of places. It would just take hours to share with you some of the things that have really come out at me, like Howell, Michigan. You know, I had witnessed things there. I'd done walking tours there for 5 years, but I'm currently just doing the haunted dinner tours once a month at Henderson. And you want to book it, it could be 2 of you, it could be 10 of you. I'm happy. The biggest group I think we ever had there one year was like 75.
Let's talk about that again in just a moment. So it's a haunted dinner.
Yeah.
Haunted dinner. And where does it happen?
Henderson Castle. So just go to hendersoncastle.com and you can book it.
Okay. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. We're talking with Dan Halroyd, Southern Michigan Paranormals. And he's also the president of the Great Lakes Ghostbusters Coalition, which we haven't had a whole lot of time to talk about. So we'll touch on that briefly. But I also want to talk about the haunted dinners and how people can participate in that. We'll have that in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
Club. Visit McGee'sHeating.com and feel at ease with McGee's.
McGee's Heating and Air. Feel at ease with McGee's.
Feel at ease with McGee's, your local Bryant Factory authorized dealer.
From the Pack Moody Studios, this is WSJM FM Benton Harbor, St. Joseph, a product of Midwest Family Marketing and Media. Proudly serving our community. The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
We're just under 3 minutes from 8 o'clock. We'll get the latest world and national news from ABC. Our guest this hour has been Dan Halroyd, Southern Michigan Paranormals. People can spend an evening with you. Tell us about the haunted dinners.
Yeah, you get a 3-course meal, and I think it's right around 110, 120 bucks.
Okay.
I don't know what Francois has gone on there now. And then I give a lecture, and we talk about the family, the history of the house.
Henderson Castle.
Castle.
Yep.
And then we walk through the house, and I tell you where a lot of things have happened in the house. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, I've tried to put forth EVPs that you can listen to. There's video for you to watch, including some Fox 17 segments we've done over the years.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a new one that we show, which is out of the Lucky Wolf and Paw Paw.
Oh, yeah.
We
been there
a couple of years ago. We had done Ghostorama, and we let cameras run overnight. I had the only key, and we caught something on stage.
Oh,
so you can go to Facebook and you can watch it.
Okay.
It is the craziest thing. And my wife tried to debunk it. We went back in there Sunday morning because we have a way that we were looking at it on a TV, and then we recorded it on our phones.
Yeah.
And we went back in there, and there's a wall there. There's nothing in between the curtain, and you just see this arm come out. And it's the strangest thing.
How can people find out more information about the haunted dinners and anything else that you're up to?
HendersonCastle.com, or go to the Facebook page, which is the Southern Michigan Paranormals. And I'm working on the network, getting that back up, and that'll be unrestrictedparanormal.com.
Okay. All right. Dan Halroyd, I know we didn't get a chance to talk too much about this as well. You are the president of the Great Lakes Ghostbusters Coalition. Just to give people an idea how much you like the Ghostbusters, how many station wagons have you built?
Well, it's been Jeeps and tractors and 7. I've done 7.
You've done 7, and they look like the Ghostbusters?
I try to make them look like a Ghostbuster car, and everybody's doing Jeeps and different cars now. When I first started, the Ghostbuster community gave me hell. If I can say it on the radio.
Sure.
And then the next, I think I knew everybody was doing them out of Jeeps, and they were buying Magnum station wagons.
So you're a fan of the Ghostbusters.
I'm a fan.
Who's your favorite Ghostbuster?
Me.
Okay. of the cast.
Obviously, it's Dan Halroyd, because our names are very similar. So it's Halroyd and Halroyd.
Okay.
And when we would do events, people would be like, yes.
Dan Halroyd, Southern Michigan Paranormals. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween
in
everybody.
advance. And we look forward to having you back sometime soon. All right.
I hope so.
Thank you very much. It's Wednesday, October 29th. Yeah, absolutely. 41 degrees in Benton Harbor. We've got the latest world and national news right now from ABC.
From ABC News,